I didn't like that one. I didn't like the miss on the high stick on the third goal, the one where Stetcher got hit. And I didn't like the no penalty when Bouchard was hit from behind by Verhaeghe. I thought that was boarding.
There was a couple there. Yeah. The icing early in overtime. Anyway, it's a fast game. But you're right. Those two were like, okay. I know what Evander Kane said after game 3. It was like, come on.
Like, Edmonton walked themselves into big trouble in game 3 and walked themselves into big trouble in game 4. They climbed out of that hole. But those two calls, or non-calls, they sat with me a bit. I really thought in the Verhaeghe case, they could have called the major and then looked at it. Sometimes I wonder if they're told not to use that call as a bailout, but I thought that was a situation where they could have done it.
Well, especially with the way Bouchard went down, too. I don't think anyone would have... There shouldn't have been much issue with them if they wanted to take a second look at that, especially after seeing the replay.
I agree.
All right. Anything else in the game?
No, I think so.
No, I think so.
Is that what I said? No, I think so.
I knew what you meant.
It's 1 o'clock, 1:30.
You should just leave that in. No, I think so. Oh, God. Actually, I did want to shout out Jeff Skinner.
I gave him some good minutes. He disrupted in all the right ways a few times.
That might have been the biggest game of Jeff Skinner's career.
Might have been.
He didn't... Yeah, and probably never. You're right. He didn't get the most minutes, but he gave them good minutes. I think he earned another game.
I agree. And Chris Knobloch has kind of built a bit of a reputation here, particularly in the playoffs when he's decided to make some lineup changes. They have usually worked out. Mentioned it was a tough go for Troy Stetcher in this one, but Jeff Skinner, yeah, he gave the type of minutes that I think you would want from a player like that in this game, and made the switch to Pickard to begin the second period, and that started the whole topsy-turvy way that this game ended up becoming.
Okay, I do have two more things I want to say about this game. Number one, you know me, I believe in the value of mindset, right?
Yep.
What was Edmonton's mindset after game 3 where they got killed? Let's wash off the stink right away. They were supposed to have basically an off day on Tuesday and skate on Wednesday. They canceled their off day. They had a full practice on Tuesday. Like, a lot of people who know a lot more about hockey than me were like, just get out on the ice, play with the puck, skate a little bit, make yourself feel good, get rid of that awful feeling you have about the way you were embarrassed in game number 3. Jennifer Botterill talked about that. And a number of other people I reached out to talked about that. I love that. Then they have an optional on Wednesday. 16 guys go out, including your 2 best players. Like, be consistent. The most important thing in life is consistency. Even if they had a terrible game, the fact is the Oilers are in this position for the second year in a row. Something they're doing is working. What do all those guys do? They keep their habits. They love hockey. They go out on the ice and they win. I don't think those things are a coincidence. I think when you have a routine that really works for you, you try to stick to that routine as much as possible. So that really stuck out to me. From how they chose to go about their business after the loss.
And it worked for them. Panthers prioritize rest. It often does do them good. Oilers wanted to keep working at things, and we've got a 2-2 series headed back to Edmonton for Game 5. Okay, Elliot, let's get to some other news from around the league. So late November, you initially had reported that Chris Drury, the general manager of the Rangers, had let the other managers around the league be known that Jacob Trouba and Chris Kreider could be available via trade for those interested. A few weeks after that, We know that Trouba was dealt to Anaheim, and then on Thursday, it became official. The rumblings were going on for days leading up to it, that Chris Kreider is also a member of the Ducks now as well. Kreider and a fourth to Anaheim. Carey Terrence, a prospect and 2025 third-round pick, go the other way to the Rangers. Is it a coincidence, Elliot, that Kreider, like Trouba before him, both are now members of the Ducks organization?
I don't think it's a coincidence at all, and you should add in Ryan Strome there, someone who Kreider knows from his days with the Rangers. And
Yes.
I'd forgotten he's tight with Trevor Zegras too, right? So
Right.
all of those players obviously would have lobbied Kreider and played a role. But I think the key thing here is Joel Quenneville. I think he played a huge role in convincing Kreider to go. Number one, if you're going to be traded and leave a place, especially a place across the country, from where you're comfortable, from where you know and where you have protection, you have to believe it is set up for you to succeed, right? And no doubt, and I believe this 1,000%, Joel Quenneville talked to Chris Kreider and said to him, this is why you're going to be successful here. This is what you're going to be able to do. This is what we need you for. This is how you can still be a very effective player in the NHL. And this is how we are going to set you up to succeed. And that, as much as anything else, like obviously we tie in all the players he knows, all of the guys he's friends with who are going to try to sell it to him. But the person who probably has to convince him the most is that person who's going to be giving him ice time. And I think Quenneville did that. If you take a look at Kreider, he got shorthanded time. He got power play time. Like, he played 17 minutes a game last year in New York, but a chunk of that, about 4 minutes, was on the power play and the penalty kill, almost 5 minutes actually. So that's a guy who's used to playing special teams, and a key part of his success, Kyle, is special teams. I have no doubt he got told, you know what, you're going to get a chance to play those minutes for us. And I think at the end of the day, that was just really important, that he knew that he was going to be placed in a position where he could show that he still had, like, he wants to show he's still got a lot to give, and that is the way he's going to have a lot to give. It says to me also about Anaheim, and they've talked about it, so it's not a big surprise. You know, Pat Verbeek, he wants to make the playoffs next year. He is running a team like a guy who needs to make the playoffs next year. And, you know, he's adding veterans. He's adding Kreider,